Alrighty, we are rolling. Go ahead and say 5.
5, 4, 3, 2.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Johnny's Reviews. I'm Johnny, and welcome back, guys. There is plenty of new changes here. You could see this is a new setup, new place right now. And guys, in this new place, I do have another person with me on the other side of the table. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a future actor, performer, stripper, you name it, ladies and gentlemen, this guy can do it. He is a boat captain in watercraft. He works at Disney, ladies and gentlemen. He is a hard worker overall. Ladies and gentlemen, so on the right side of his whole body, he is accident prone. I'll let him explain that to you guys here pretty soon, but that's what I wrote. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Collin Freehauf.
Yo.
Go ahead and say hi to the camera, ladies and gentlemen. He right here is a well-rounded person, guys. I met him walking out of work, believe it or not, and he was telling me some of his plans on what he wanted to do, and I wanted to invite him on here, see what he does, what he's going to do in the future, and I'll let him sort of talk about what he does, and I know you have a lot of questions for him, and we'll get to that. We'll get down to it here pretty soon. So how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. It was a crazy kind of day, and then all of a sudden you're like, hey, why don't we just start this today? I was like, hey, I'm all about it.
That was crazy. It was like 2-3 days ago.
No time.
Yeah, man, and I was kind of like stoked, especially when I the lineup pretty soon that I'm gonna have. You kind of came in. I was like, yeah, awesome, man. This is totally gonna work. And I was already kind of thinking like, okay, I can plan you in for next week, but you already have a lot of things going on.
Yeah,
you can explain a little bit more on that here pretty soon. But guys, he's an actor, and he has a lot of things coming up pretty soon. And you kind of want to talk about that a little bit just to see what.
This Sunday I got a call back. I'm gonna be going for this little horror comedy movie. It's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Met with the director actually one day during this open casting call. It was pretty sick.
Right.
And after that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do my normal thing and I'm gonna stay after, help the guy clean up, see what happens. I bombed, dude. I bombed this audition. I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to get my thing. It's going to be a cold read. And then I'm reading this thing. And he's like, hey, by the way, it'd be really great if everyone memorized this. I'm like,
right.
This is like more than a paragraph type thing. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
dude,
this is great. Let's see what I can do.
Now, is it script?
It wasn't like
long kind of
it wasn't a giant script. It was like a paragraph and a half.
It's like an audition, pretty much. But you have to know that, like, maybe it's going to be a page or 2 pages. You don't know what it's going to be. But
yeah, and I'm really good with cold reads. I don't know what it is. I just go in. I'm
right.
like, whatever. But then all of a sudden, I sat there for 8.5 hours. I'm like, bro, here we go.
Dude.
Walk in there. I'm one of the last people to walk in there. And I walk in, and I'm like, because I sat and I memorized it, I'm like, I'm thinking of all these characters I can do for this, all the different ways I can do for this. I'm like, shit, here we go, man.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I just sat there and I shook it out and bombed it. And
dude, that's crazy to believe. Like, you have to do a lot of things. Maybe you just get yourself out of the situational things that are going on, or maybe you have to create a situation. And that right there kind of making a probably, like, let's just say if you had to make yourself cry and like you had to create that in character, is it that in depth, like kind of going into that shit?
If you're doing something like that and like you're sitting there memorizing over this paragraph or something, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna memorize this, and you're gonna go in and do like something that you sat there for weeks doing. It gets a little frustrating because you're like, all right, I have to do this, I have to hit this at this specific line, I got to do it right this way. And if you go in there and you just like, oh crap, didn't do it at this one, all right, well, threw that out the door, we're doing something new now, and then you just start shaking a little bit. Auditions just aren't fun. So
man, I bet, man, even like how I hear the auditions go at Disney, and probably like a whole different perspective and overall.
Yeah, for a lot of people, it's pretty nerve-wracking if you're doing like, because but you got to remember they're looking for specific ways to look like. All right, you got to be like 5'2", sorry, that's it.
Yeah.
You're 5'2.5", get out.
Get out. Like, I think I had one of my friends that he was talking about it, and he was in parking also, and he was just kind of like, he wanted to be Peter Pan, and he was like, man, you fit the height, you fit everything, man, next level, or the next call. And now he had to go to the dancing, and it's like that will tell you
that
like,
one's nerve-wracking, especially like you're like, I don't dance,
like, what do you
but I'm gonna try, I'm gonna
like,
fake it.
I'll do it until I know maybe I'll get in, maybe I won't. But
it psychs a lot of people out, because then all of a sudden you're like, all right, I can try this out, I got in, I'm gonna be doing this next part, and then all of a sudden you see people that are definitely like dancers, and they're like, they've been striving for this their whole life, and you're like, oh great,
and then they fail, and then they get so distraughted, man. They're just so like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, learn from it. Like, learn what you have to do now. Like,
meet
maybe
the
you have
director
to
or something,
right. Like, what did I do wrong that you want me to improve on? Maybe.
Exactly. Maybe. Like, I definitely didn't deserve the callback, but in his eyes, you know what? Maybe he saw something, because I sat there. I went to the workshop that he had after. He had an actor's workshop.
Oh,
after.
you actually went?
Yeah, I ended up I paid for the money. I was like, you know what? Actors need to get better and better. Right. So I was like, let's go ahead and let's sit through it. I sat through it. He watched me, I guess. He liked what he did. I cleaned up with him after. Yeah. And then me and like one other person ended up going out to dinner with this dude, meeting some of the cast, like not the cast, the crew that he was with that day. And I was like, this is sick. And he's a good guy. And we all got to know each other. And I was like, this is how you get to
this is
people.
How you get to do.
I was like,
and dude, we were talking about that a little bit right before the podcast, and by the way, man, thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
we
kind
of went straight into it.
Yeah, I'm glad that we did.
And that's what I was like, dude, such an honor to have you on here. Like,
thanks, man.
This is like your time, for me anyway, to know that this is probably your time of limbo to try to figure out if it works out or not. This is it, man. And this is
I wouldn't say this is obviously not a make or break me, but it's just these next 2 weeks really determine how far you go, in the next 5 years.
Yeah. So we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a little, like tell me a little bit more about that. Like, not the act, but right before I said, thanks for coming back on. So we were talking about like the networking you would have to do to get into a certain role, or like,
you got to go out there.
Yeah,
dude.
man.
You got to do anything you can. Like, you have to. I've any set that I've been on, like, it doesn't matter, short film, you're an extra or something.
Right.
Find something to find somebody else there and be like, hey, you need help? Like, yeah, you know what? I'm not allowed to touch the cameras. I get that. I'm not allowed to touch any sound. Can't touch any lights. Get it? But I can literally pick up a 5-pound sandbag for you. I can sweep the floor for you. I want to do it all. Please let me in. I want anything and everything to do with this industry. So let me in.
Talk about dirty right there, ladies and gentlemen. Now, like I said, like, you're a hard worker. And so that definitely reflects a lot on, one, your mission, like what you're trying to do, and also your character and how much it actually will build you up to get to that certain outcome or goal that you want.
Yeah.
And, that's what I do a lot about, like, on this podcast, is just to talk about the struggle and talk about how much people have to do things that they don't want to do to get to the certain point that they want to get to.
Exactly. And you just gotta eat it, man. I'm sorry, bro. You just gotta eat it and eat it and eat it. Like, that's just something my mom taught me, man. Like, two most important people in my life, they literally just pushed and pushed. Like, especially my grandfather. That man worked up to the day he died.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
My grandfather, man, he taught me everything. And, he was the guy that knew there was problems at home. I'm too little to understand all that. And he's like, yeah, we're going to go to Disney every other weekend, but you're going to work with me every single summer. You're going to be doing this. You're going to be working on the farm. You're going to work at the marina. You're going to be doing everything. But, I worked on houses. I did everything.
Right.
The man taught me how to drive a tractor. He taught me how to drive a car. He taught me how to drive a boat. He taught me everything I know, and I loved him, man.
Dude, that's
loved him the most, and it's the same thing like my mom.
I respect that, man. That's awesome.
Yeah,
like, you had like a role model right there. I mean, especially a role model that can teach you everything at a young age like that.
Yeah,
and that's essentially what a father or a father figure should do.
Yeah,
and so, like, having all of that play an effect to how you want your outcome to be now. Oh, dude,
Yeah,
grateful.
I mean, I saw like, so the way my family is you, obviously this is how most families are. You got the side that is super successful,
Right.
you know. You got the lawyer side. You got the marketing. My aunt's a marketer,
Right.
so they're super successful. And then you got my side, you know. I mean,
The
power
blue
to my
collar.
dad. My dad loves working, man.
He's
Like,
working with his hands, man. But
he's a handy man, you know.
yeah.
Obviously, he doesn't know computers and stuff that well, you know. But
You know, and that's the thing, man. You got to know what you're essentially good at, and if you
Yeah.
know, oh man, that pathway is going to be so much more clearer for you.
Exactly.
And you know, sometimes even if you don't know you're going to be good enough, you're going to have to do. You're going to eat
you're
shit
gonna have
for
to-
the longest time.
very long time.
And like that right there, it shows me that like no matter if it was like super bad like growing up, or
Yeah.
you tend to find a way to kind of
No matter,
cope with it.
yeah,
right?
no matter what happens in your life, like, dude, I've been through some stuff,
like you were
with
telling me, yeah.
my mom, everything that happened with that, like my grandfather.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just those types of things. It's like, I got lucky. I was born and raised by people who is like, we got no other choice. We're gonna do this, or we're done.
Yeah, it's like you're stuck
You
in a
know?
corner. What
Yeah.
else are you gonna
And,
do?
I mean, my dad too. My dad's just that kind of guy. He just keeps
Right.
working while no one stops. You know, it's like, I mean, he loves doing what he does. He's an on hands kind of guy.
Yeah.
But we didn't grow up with money or nothing,
course
dude.
not.
I mean, obviously, I went to Disney and everything other weekend, but that's my grandfather's money. My
Yeah.
grandfather didn't give that money out. He's a smart man. He's not just gonna hand some money
Yeah.
out, but he took care of me. You know.
It's fine, man. Like as long as I think for me, anyways, like as you could stay humble to
Exactly.
even the part of like, and I've heard this a lot before, is that like someone that has a lot of money and like they like a kid that has a lot of money and they're depressed or they're going through some sort of shit.
Exactly.
It's just the saddest thing because they're never gonna actually know how it is to be self-realized or
Yep.
be a self-made man.
Yep.
And so like the fact that you have a sense of balance between both and that you've actually kind of conquered.
Yep. I
the-
know what it
yep.
feels like to have money, and I
and
know what it
have-
feels like to not have the
Yeah.
money, and
And-
that is the best way to grow
Yes.
up.
And
you
we
know?
were talking about our living situations and how
Yeah.
what we have to do to kind of like essentially get to that goal and
Yeah.
what we're willing to sacrifice.
Yeah.
So and like that we can kind of talk a little bit about. and give
Yeah,
a
I don't
brief-
mind talking about it. It's
and
pretty
if
funny,
you-
man.
Yeah, dude, and that's the thing, man. So, like humor is there just to kind of
Yeah.
cope with all the hard shit.
Oh
that you have
yeah,
to go
dude. I
for.
mean, I love it. Like, I mean, people think I'm straight up crazy. I met this guy at the bar. Like, I'm like, you know, as much as everything I'm going through, I wouldn't change it. I mean, obviously, I'd rather have my grandfather and my mom back any day of the week. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't change it because it's ultimately going to make me who I am. And it's
Yes.
like, yeah, when I make it, dude, I'm gonna be like, I'm one bad mofo.
Exactly.
You know, like I
Exactly.
did this. You know, look at this.
It's like when someone writes a biography about you, like,
Yeah.
and you're just, you know, it's like, wow, he was nothing and
Yeah.
he came from something, went to nothing, and then came back right out.
Exactly.
It's like, dude, you fucked your
Yeah.
whole life up
Yeah.
and then got yourself out of it, and
Yep.
that's probably like one of the I think. Just humans in general just want to see those like underdog or hear about the underdog, hear about the Cinderella man, hear about like
Yeah.
all the struggles, but yet it's like how we can kind of like think of like how social media has perfectionalized life that to the point where you don't know if there are like
You don't know if they're really doing it.
yes,
You know,
like you don't
I
know
can
if,
post a picture of, yeah, that's great, man. Look at me, I'm on set. No one knows if I'm on a big movie set
Right,
or not, and
right.
they don't need to know.
they don't need
They'll
it.
know
It's
by
like-
looking
like,
at the movie screen
exactly,
one day. You know?
exactly. And that's why I think whenever we were talking, even before the podcast, I was just like, oh man, dude, this is gonna be a great, like humbling story, a
Yeah.
great success, or maybe a failure. It doesn't like
Yeah.
we learn a lot from our failures, and you don't know what if it is gonna be or if it isn't. But it's like that
Yeah.
50-50 chance that says, hey, dude, if it all goes well, and I think it's all gonna go well, dude,
Yep.
it's
And
gonna
that's
happen.
the thing. It's like the last couple days, I'd say I was at work. I was sitting there. I'm driving this boat, and I'm like sitting there talking to the deckhand. I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. I feel it. It's right there,
Yeah.
and I just know. I
Yeah.
just know so much, man, and it brightens me up, and I just know, you know.
Yeah.
Like, this can be big. That other thing I got going on, that can be
could be
huge.
big.
I'm also doing this little short film for a film festival with my buddy. Like, that's the greatest thing, man, is when I'm working with my friends too.
Right.
Like, yeah, sometimes you goof off too
Fucking
much.
goof
And you're
off.
like,
It's a fun part about it. Like,
yeah, you're like, great, man, we're not gonna get anything done, and you're like, it's because it's my friend. It kind of puts more pressure on you.
Yeah.
Because you're like, if you're doing it for somebody you don't really know too much, you're like, all right, I don't really I'm a worker. I'm supposed to work for this director.
I don't have anything
If you're
to
working
lose.
with your friend, you're like, if I'm terrible, he's going to make fun of me. I gotta get this done, man.
It's like that pressure's on now. Like,
yeah, you're like,
oh, man.
and then you just come out looking super awkward, and you're like, I don't know what's going on. I do a film with this man. I'm doing this with you.
Right.
I'm garbage with you, but this guy, I'm pretty great.
No, man, that's awesome. I mean, like, and then just going back to like the sacrifices, like, man, like just kind of like knowing the difference between living functionally well just to kind of impress people and living to the point where you're just like, I have priorities. And just both relating to the same sort of concept. Man, respect for one.
Yeah.
Two, it's like it's an adventure, man. I'm pretty sure you're not going to be there as sleeping.
No.
You can sleep on the couch for as long as you possibly think, and then you're going to get yourself out of there.
And that's why, like, with the way I'm living right now, man,
Right.
I don't mind. I'm never home. Look, I'm doing so much. I'm working the 3 jobs. I'm doing all the film that I can as much as I can, and it's like, it's whatever, You got to do what you got to do.
Exactly. No, but even like just the stories that you have, it's just like, or just in general, like stories that can kind of come from nothing. It's an inspirational thing that can kind of get someone to understand that, wow, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can actually like make something out of it. And whether it's just a figure of like knowledge and learn from it, or if it is going to come up from something, but it's that risk that you're willing to take.
Yeah.
That's something I respect, especially from anybody that can kind of say, fuck that. I'm gonna get away from the status quo. Fuck everybody that says that you can't do it, and go for it.
Yeah, and that's the craziest thing. It's like a lot of people are like, listen, man, I just don't want to be alone and stuff. And it's like, I get that, man. I get that so much. It's like, I hate being alone.
Yeah.
That's why obviously I got to go out with my friends on the occasion. It's like, it sucks being alone, but having that solitude puts you in a mindset of like, I got to get this done, because then if I can make it and I have the money for everybody else, then that means I can bring everyone along with me, and I can just see constant joy throughout their life. That's what I need to do this for, This isn't for me anymore. It's to give them that constant joy.
Exactly, man. Even if it, like, for me, it's my family, man. Like, for me, it's like a reassuring thing that maybe I don't want them to kind of have like the same bad luck that they've always had. And it's not even necessarily bad luck, but it's just like, everybody does not start off in the same
it's
area.
Not the same race.
Yes,
man.
and it's so like whether you know that you're a little bit before or like behind somebody else, you're gonna have to do whatever it takes to push yourself into at least get you into that same equilibrium place that they are. So that's the thing, man. Even if you start late, that you have to do whatever it takes to actually get to that certain point.
Yeah, it's a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of hungry nights,
God,
and the crazy part is, it's like, I mean, my diet's super easy.
You're in good shape, dude. That's also another.
Yeah, I could use a little more,
don't get me wrong, but I
could definitely use a little more.
But that's the sign of growth, man. But
and I love seeing the growth, and it's like I really changed my whole diet and stuff. When I first got up here, obviously, when you hit that. I wouldn't say it was depression, but it's definitely like a weird thing that I was in, and I was like, cheeseburger tonight, 4 for $4s. Those are super cheap. Let's just keep going with that.
You're more about the quantity than the quality.
Yeah, you need something in your stomach.
Something to just keep you going.
Exactly.
But when you, so we'll talk about this a little bit. As just like the health side. I mean, what did you do that was different, like kind of coming over here?
Compared to now? This week I've just been, because I'm out and about so much, and I just don't have time to just be like, all right, I need to just throw this chicken on the thing, on the skillet, but I just don't have that time. Like, I'm like, all right, I gotta be here. So I guess I'm having some Starbucks this morning. I get, my coffee, all I eat throughout the day is, I have a pretty easy morning routine. I wake up, it's super weird, but I wake up, make my coffee, take the dogs out, and then I'll make like a 4th cup of blueberries, and then a cup of green grapes.
Right.
And then with that, right after that, I will start A match on Dragon Ball Z Fighters.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
It's
You're
crazy.
into Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, dude,
That's
I love
dope,
Dragon
bro.
Ball Z. I just recently got into it, and it's crazy, but I
Wait,
love
like
it.
overall, you just got into Dragon Ball Z?
My favorite is Super for sure. I
Okay,
know
for
everything
sure,
that
yeah.
happens. Like when I start to like fanboy over something,
Yeah.
I'm full investigation. Like that's it. I'm in
Right.
it. I know this. I know this. I know that. And it's like so Super. I know everything that happens, obviously. But
I think we just became best friends.
I like that.
Dude.
But yeah, I'll wake up. I'll start the Dragon Ball Z Fighters. I'll play a match
Yeah.
because the way I look at it is when you're playing fighting games, you're literally your back's against the wall. You need to figure out a strategy to win that match. So I figure if I can start a strategy, put on some. It sounds crazy, but I just put on some meditation music or classical music. And
I don't think it's crazy at all, dude.
just-
If I literally make a YouTube video of everything that I incorporated in my lifestyle
Yeah.
in my life, no, don't even
Yeah,
question it, bro.
it's-
Like
My buddy thinks it's weird. Like
No,
we'll be
dude,
playing
fuck
video
it.
games, I'll play racing games or something, and all of a sudden, if I turn on classical music, he just looks at me. He's like, "Oh no!" And then all of a sudden, I just start destroying him and whatever it is. Like especially Dragon Ball Z, man. Like I turn it on, I put it on, and I just start seeing the strategies happening
Right.
like this, and it makes me wake up pretty quickly, and I
Right.
can see what's going on. And then throughout the day, I'm like, "Oh, this is an easy problem solved. Look what I did this morning. I just
Right.
destroyed this dude that's so much better than me."
yeah,
You know?
dude, and that's the thing. Like you finding that state of balance with competition, and competition is actually a really good thing.
I love competition.
Yes.
I am so competitive,
Yes,
and it's bad.
It doesn't even have to be like nothing severe, but just like little competitions here and there to
Yeah.
kind of show you that maybe it's going to put you in your place, and you got to know that
Yeah.
there's room to improve.
And I
that's the thing.
that's what I like. I like competition to where I like it being me against the world. You know, I don't know why. I just love it. I love it being me. And that's a little narcissistic. But in my career, you kind of have to.
You
be.
have to be. It's like it's either me or the other guy. And
yeah,
it's like
and I like it, man. I just love competition. I love being
Right.
able to be like, let's see what's gonna happen. I don't
Right.
know if I'm gonna win, but I can sure tell you I'm gonna fight.
it's like I'll show you. Like
Yeah.
like you're probably gonna be really good, but you're not gonna be better than me. Like
Yeah,
I'm not-
you
it's
might
like
be
it's
better
a-
than me, but that's a learning
that's a
curve for
learning
me,
curve.
and then that means that I got something else to learn, and
Right.
maybe I find the new strategy.
Exactly.
You know? And
It's
that's
like
what I love, man.
It's finding the adaptability there, and I think that's a healthy mind. That's like essentially what I think a healthy mind would
Yeah.
include is to actually know that you know how to get yourself out of sticky situations.
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be that specific, but and like anything in life, and that's just a good ideology for a man to know what to do when
Yeah,
situations
yeah.
go fucking shit hits the fan. What are you gonna do? It's like
you just
gotta
keep working.
Right.
You just
Right.
keep. I mean, we call it the Freehauf curse. Like it happens.
Curse.
We call it like that's something my aunt said to when something bad happens in the family, or I feel like it's the Freehauf's mentality is like when my grandfather passed away. You
Right.
know, we were all there, obviously.
Right.
My dad, being the oldest son, walked in and he was like, "That's it." You know, he walked outside and we're all devastated. You know,
Yeah.
he walked out and got the nurse. He's like, "Hey, he's gone. Let's get this in." He just started making phone calls, just no emotion, gone. All emotion out the door. Everything's out. And then, what happened. I'm not going to talk about what happened with my mom. It's a little long
Dude,
story.
I mean, if you want,
guys
you
want
can.
to talk
I mean,
about
I
it,
don't-
it's
that's-
cool. But
This is your episode, man.
no,
you can-
thanks, man.
Yeah, so
It's
I
just
won't.
long, sad story. It's whatever. But same thing would happen with my mom. As soon as I got the phone call,
Right.
they're like, "Hey, this is what happened to mom." I'm like, "That's fine. Let me call. Let me call everybody up." Called everybody up. I got to take care of my sisters, and I've had a pretty solid back in between
Right.
with my friends and stuff that's gone on with all that. But it's as long as you got a solid back in, I definitely feel like you can get anything done.
Dude, especially like looking at that, and you can actually use that a sense of fuel, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's heartwarming for one, and
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
Oh,
But,
no. I don't mind talking about it.
Nah,
When I talk about it, definitely
Yeah.
it relieves that problem,
Yeah.
and that's something I definitely encourage a lot of people
Right.
to do. It's like, don't down people with your
No,
stuff, but
no, yeah.
don't make them feel bad for you.
Heck
But
no, and that's
talk about it, because if
Exactly.
you talk about it, it starts to feel like, oh, that's a big relief on me,
right. And I think this sort of platform helps with that, and especially
Yeah.
like having a sense of knowing that there's your perspective of looking on things, and maybe there's other people that you can help out that can maybe has gone through something like that.
Yeah, and
So-
that's another thing. It's
Yeah.
like I it helps me with my acting for
Of
sure,
course,
man.
Of course, man. Like
but-
you use that to kind of like
Yeah, it's my fuel for when I act. I wouldn't say it's so much method. It's just
Right.
it's easier to pull from. It's like, all right, I know how that feels, man. And I definitely,
Yeah, dude, sense of respect, dude. I
Yeah,
think a lot of the things you do right now, I'm just saying,
it's been a crazy 2 years since the moment I moved to Orlando. Boom, that was
so it was 2 years ago when you moved over here.
I moved here last July.
Okay,
So July 2018.
Right.
So almost, I'd say
That's-
like a year and a half, almost. Yeah. But yeah, it's been crazy since I moved up here.
Right.
But it builds character.
That's one thing.
Every day I live,
mean,
it builds character.
Yeah, dude. I mean, there's a lot of things I've learned just moving over here. So I moved. I moved in January, so I understand.
Yeah.
And I mean, coming from Texas, dude, it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
Like touristy, like so many diversities all around the room, and I mean, you got like the whole gender, sexuality, all that.
Yep.
There's a whole different perspective on here that makes me tend to appreciate the open-mindedness that I have to kind of like let myself understand a little bit more on that aspect or any aspect. But
you have to have an open
you
mind
have to have an
anywhere
open
you
mind.
go in
Yes.
this world.
Yes.
You just got to know, be safe, but have an open mind, dude.
Exactly.
Go out there, try new things, because you never know. Maybe that's where I need to be, you know?
Right.
I just believe it's all supposed to work out. But I also do believe if you have that hard-driven mind, like, that's it, man.
That's your luck. I mean, you make your own luck.
Exactly.
Yes.
You're creating luck.
Yes.
Like I talked to you earlier today, and I was like, yeah, I went out last night with a couple of my friends, and I met some dude. He's like, yeah, bro, I'm in entertainment too. I'm like, crazy. That's cool. That's another connection.
Samesies.
Yeah, exactly. Samesies. I'm with you. I'll do what you do. Maybe we can work together on something.
Like maybe, but see, you already created that bridge right there to kind of like know that.
Already, that's just. The crazy part is I'm this dude. I learned his name last night, and I've met this dude, and we've always like, yo, what's up, man? For the last like 3 weeks. And
but then finally, you had the time to talk, and it's like, oh shit, that's like at least these 3 weeks for a reason.
I went out with my friend Brooklyn last night, and she's like, oh, that's Steve, and I was like, oh, that's his name.
That's his name.
That's great.
It's like, I didn't know 3 weeks later. Now I know.
And I was like, what's up, bro? Let me get in the game. And he's like, yeah, bro, get in the game. I'm like, that's sick.
That's funny, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that just goes to show you that's a fucking small world. But
oh, it really is, man.
Right there.
It really is.
Yeah. So like, let's talk about a little bit of like of the acting industry, and then talk about like I guess the film industry in general.
It's crazy.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here, folks. If future famous actor, who knows?
You'll see.
You'll see.
Give me 4 or 5 years max. You'll see something big.
That's what I'm saying. That's all. I mean, I can go back to this podcast and say I interviewed him before.
4 to 5 years,
Such a
man.
yes.
4 to 5 years.
So that, dude,
Hopefully sooner. Maybe.
we'll see.
Real
That you
soon, maybe.
like just
like I'm saying, these things.
that you have
These
coming
2
up,
weeks are determining the,
and you
the
can't
next 5 years.
you can't disclose them at all.
No, I can
Just kind of like briefly.
Yeah,
just kind of give the audience a little bit.
The movie audition. It's a comedy movie. It's like a what is it? It's
Romantic
a mixed
comedy?
No, it's a horror comedy.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
that's
it's
come
like,
up lately. Have you
yeah,
noticed
those
that?
are really cool now. You know,
like
and I'm all about it, man.
Yeah, so am I. Like, I think that's just like our niche now.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is, I hate horror movies. I don't hate them. I can't say I hate them. I dislike them because I get scared, man. Yeah, I'm a chicken.
It's okay, dude. I was like that with It for the longest time, man. And
Dude, I watched The Nun, and
The Nun got you?
I was slept in my living room with all the lights on in my roommate's room a couple nights too.
It's like, hey, bro, where you at? Are you home?
No, we and then all of a sudden, like, I mean, it would be bad. I'd start forgetting about the movie, and then all of a sudden, to play a joke on him, I'd play like the Nun song, and it's just like, and then I'm like, oh, great, now I can't go to bed. Wait for the light to turn on, and then I'm like, now I gotta sleep.
Dude, so like every time I would freak myself out like that, or even I don't know if it's just like horror movies, but just like if I get into my rabbit hole YouTube searches and I'm just kind of like going into like,
you
are
find
we in
some
it?
crazy things.
It's like, are we in a virtual reality or like
I don't
something
like those
that?
things.
Dude,
It kind of puts you in a weird mood. You're like, I'm depressed now.
I'm depressed now, but I love hearing that shit. Like I love like thinking the what ifs or the like all this other stuff that kind of like that people just don't want to talk about because it just freaks them out. But
it totally is. Like I don't know what's gonna happen, but like my grandfather said, I was like, hey, Grandpa, would you ever cremate yourself? And he's like, no, never. I'm like, why? He's like, because that could burn. That could hurt, man. I'm like, you're dead. He's
dead.
Like, you don't know if you feel it or not.
No,
I'll be the first one to find out.
He's talking like, oh shit, like his spirit. You're talking about like what?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
What?
And I was like,
Like,
but you know, my grandfather was Catholic and stuff, and like I did
okay.
Catholic school on Sundays and stuff, but like. He wasn't a push on, you know. He wouldn't push it on you.
Right.
There's
a lot of families will do that.
A lot of families do that. I mean, obviously, they're like, my grandma would be like, you know, Grandpa would really like you to go over to Sunday school this week. He will buy you lunch and everything. I'm like, that's great.
They'll incentivize you.
Yeah.
They would like.
I mean, she's like, you're really upsetting Grandpa by not going. I'm like,
oh,
I just worked with him all day. What do you mean? I'm pretty sure he'd rather have me here on the farm working with him. I love being with him. I was like, I want to spend the time with him more, you know?
No, dude, like that sense of perspective. Like I think like a parent is trying to just put their ideas on you, and you know, it's a sense of respect when it comes to that stuff.
You just
Sometimes
have to respect it,
yeah,
man, you know,
like
appease them.
Yes,
you know, appease them. Believe what you want to believe.
Yeah,
don't push it on
don't
people.
Push it. Yeah.
And if you get pushed on, then
just
I don't recommend pushing back because it just becomes a big problem.
You feed the flame that doesn't need to be fueled, and
exactly.
you're now just causing more hurt to yourself, but also to another person, and that's just like like an idealistic thing. Is just you always want to be nice to everybody you meet, man. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know their story. You don't know anything. Fuck. Why does it hurt? Why do you want to go out of your way to hurt another person? Like that's and some people hold that to their core, man. That's like that's who they are.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, man, and that's for anything, man. Like vegans.
Yeah.
Like now I'm just poking.
My buddy actually went vegan, and it's kind of cool to see. Yeah.
I'm just kidding, bro. I tried it. I couldn't do it.
I can't do it. Power to the people that can. You know, like
props to you.
Yeah. Props to everybody.
You know, they have a good reason to do it. Like
exactly. I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel so much better not eating meat and stuff. But to make that transition, it just depends on how much meat you're in. You have to have a well-balanced diet, you know.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm listening, but I'm also just skeptically listening.
Yeah. But my buddy does it. He lost a lot of weight and stuff, you know. He enjoys it. He feels good, he says, and I'm like, that's great, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that. But that's great.
You're like, I'm not gonna do that.
Power to him, man, because it's hard.
Yeah,
it's real hard.
You know, like
to find the proteins and stuff that you need daily. It's hard.
It's like the vitamin, like the B12 vitamin.
Yeah,
that they
and
take,
it's real expensive too to do. So I don't know.
And you know, maybe it's like for health reasons, maybe it's for fitness reasons, maybe it's just like they care about the environment and they care about like these animals, and you know.
I mean.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of people that just initially care to the point where they're just like, hey, we're doing this because of this reason. I'm like, more power to you. Like, if that helps you out, then that's fine. Exactly. You know, and that's why I'm not dissing on them. Like, I'm not dissing on it, but but there's those selective few that are crazy. Like, you always have those. Yeah, those you
always
people.
got some.
Right.
Yeah, I understand that 100% too. You know, and you just brush it off.
Exactly.
You walk on with your day.
Yeah, but those are the ones that were always like push. Like, why
yeah, exactly. Just like why don't you believe in this?
What's going on?
I don't know. You know, I'd like to learn.
Yeah.
You know, learning it's pretty cool.
It's like, why don't you just sit down and talk to me instead of just yelling at me and just telling me, no, you're wrong.
I don't know, let's have an adult conversation. And if we're gonna just agree to disagree, let's walk away and not do this because that's what adults do. Exactly. Sometimes you get people that in life that will never do that.
Exactly.
Because your life values don't match up with theirs.
And dude, that's a sense of like a maturity in everybody, like man or woman alike. It doesn't matter, but it's just like that idea alone has to be kind of more explored to get a better understanding of everything. But that's just that open-mindedness that we were talking about at the beginning. It's just like, what are you willing to learn and to dive into and actually say, you know, maybe I'd like to learn more.
Exactly.
But, like,
Yeah, like the movies.
like the movies. Like, but dude, ever since I've known that you're right. Like we were talking about how your sister kind of pushed a choir on you, and and that's the thing, man.
Tricked me, man.
I wasn't initially pushed to like, because I think we can kind of relate on the same background with being like this the jock and the sporty.
Yeah, I was like I would definitely say it was kind of like a mini High School Musical, which is weird.
It's weird.
Yeah, but I did it. Like I did choir for 4 years, man. I sang at Candlelight, and it's weird because I was like, I do like this stuff. I do like the traveling, and I was singing at Disney and stuff, and then all of a sudden I did a play.
What Candlelight was?
Candlelight is basically this storytelling through song, and you'll have one A-list actor or B-list actor, whatever. You'll, like we had Neil Patrick Harris for 1 year. One of the years I did it, I actually had one of the ladies from the original Addams Family, so that was pretty cool. So you get to see some pretty cool things and meet some pretty cool people, and they just tell the story of Christmas and Christ throughout the story of song, I guess. Yeah. That's pretty much all I remember. I just remember I'd go sing and enjoy the parks.
Yeah. I guess that's it. That would be an experience on its own, like especially as you grew up with choir, and it's like knowing like.
Yeah, I mean, I was still the guy that in choir. Like, if when my friends see this, they're gonna be like, "Man, he didn't do nothing. All he did was like sit there. He got away with everything." And well, if my choir teacher sees this, she saw something that nobody else did.
Exactly. It's like she believed in me.
That's actually another thing. It's like I look back on the things that I'm doing now, and man, do I hope I make it. I mean, I'm gonna make it. I know it. I know it.
Props to you,
but I'm gonna go back, and hopefully she's still gonna be working there, my old teacher. And I'm gonna be like, a lot of the decisions I made and further in my life are because of you. I'm gonna thank her. And I'll be like, I thought that this was stupid. I thought that football, man, I gotta be that guy. Football, I gotta do wrestling. I'm a surfer, man. I'm not a singer. I don't do this stuff. But she changed my mind, man. It's crazy.
That's a courageous thing to do, because it takes a lot of courage to just get out. I mean, there's some things that are like transitioned over to being cool, like from what we initially thought was cool, and so like having the courage to actually kind of go and do your own thing and kind of just say like, holy shit, like this is actually a respectful thing. And I think I'm not gonna say out of like the whole bully situation has helped, but but I think a lot more people have gotten to the point where there's a sense of respect. There's this. What's that? Man?
I think it's just him moving on the chair.
Oh, yeah, I can kind of hear it too.
Yeah, I hear that. You hear that? Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Hey, can you not do that?
I think that means switch chairs.
That's exactly. So our camera guy's sitting down now, but it's okay.
Yeah, it happens.
It happens. So what were we talking about? Oh, okay. So yeah, I mean, essentially, he's like that.
It's
ladies and gentlemen,
I forgive you.
He's my roommate our housemate, and he was gracious enough to actually give us a hand on the camera side.
I mean, with that short notice, it's pretty solid.
It's pretty solid.
Pretty solid.
Thanks, man. Very appreciate it. Just don't mess it up. Okay, but no, dude, and just kind of like knowing there that maybe like even because I was a band dude. I was.
Yeah, I did band too.
What'd you play?
I played the trumpet.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was pretty sorry about it. I mean, it was cool, like
right.
And I did it in middle school. I wanted to play drums so bad, but they're just like, nah, no jokes for you. I was like, oh, that's cool. That's great.
Percussion, bro. Like,
yeah, I wanted to be percussion, man. And the funny part is, I mean, I got in because I was like, I've got to be the man. It's high school. It's a whole new year.
And they think like drumming is so cool. After drumline came out, everybody was like,
yeah. And then all of a sudden I was like, I'm not doing band after. I was like, I'm not doing band anymore. I'm not doing much, man. It was
Yeah.
cool. I mean,
Did you quit?
I met a really cool girl.
Yeah.
And was one of the biggest parts of my, I'm only 22, but still, at this point in my life, she was one of the biggest parts of my life and
Right.
changed a lot of views that I had. Like, her mom, man, her mom was great.
Mhm.
Her mom changed a lot of views I had. Like, there was this is my ex-girlfriend, but
Sure.
she's awesome. Her mom, man, I was sitting down one day and she's like, oh, Jenny comes up to me and she's like, hey, my mom thinks that we should move to Orlando. I'm like, I ain't moving. Like, in my head, I mean, she watches.
I'm not moving. What's wrong?
In my head, bro, I'm like, I'm not moving to Orlando.
Where'd
I'm
you-
crazy. I would never move.
Where'd you live before this?
I lived in Jupiter, Florida.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Well, it's not Jupiter. Technically, it's Jupiter, but I lived in this place called Hope Sound. It's
Right.
small town, real small. Everyone knows. And I mean, everybody knows
They know
everybody.
everybody. It's that small.
Yeah, my uncle lived 5 minutes north of me. Then my other uncle lived 2 minutes west of me,
Oh.
and then my aunt, she lived 7 to 10 minutes, I'd say, west. And I'm just like, wow, we all know. Everybody knew the Freehauf family. Everybody
Yeah.
knew, but my part of the family, everyone knew us as like, oh, stay away from those guys. Those guys
Yeah.
are crazy. But I mean, that's another reason,
Yeah.
But I came from there and grew up as a surfer, dove all the time and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
now I'm in Orlando. I still surf, and that's another reason. Like, the only other place I'm going is California, so I can. That way, no, you're good.
No, dude, no, I forgot that was still on. Oh, wait, okay, close
Wait
it.
a minute.
Okay, then we're
No, that's the only reason I'm moving to California. When I move to California, is that way I can still surf.
Right.
I'm not giving that up. That's like one of my foundations to my life.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not the greatest. I mean, I did a competition. Definitely knew I was way out. Those people were way out of my league. And I was like, you know what? I like doing what I'm doing, and trying to impress my girlfriend at the time. I was
Yeah.
like, I can't do this. So.
I certainly believe that every person that you encounter intimately,
Mhm.
relationship, whatever,
Doesn't matter,
It
they
doesn't
change
matter.
you.
They, well, I wouldn't say that, but they're there to teach you something.
Yeah.
Vice versa. Also.
I mean,
like teach
yeah.
you something about yourself that you probably ever knew about yourself,
Oh yeah.
and teach them something about themselves. Maybe
Mhm.
it's like if it didn't work out.
Exactly. It didn't work out. I mean,
You know what they're not. You know what you're intentionally what have to
Exactly.
work out if it was your fault, and
Exactly.
intentionally, what they're not into, what they thought they
Exactly.
weren't into. But
and it's crazy
Yeah.
though how like you do also have to respect your elders and know like sometimes they know so much more
Oh, dude,
about
they've
you
gone
than
through it.
you
Yeah.
know yourself. Like,
exactly.
yeah, we're a young couple and stuff, and understandable. But like her mom, dude, she knew me. She's
Mhm.
like, I know
She
you.
can read you like a fucking book.
Yeah, like a fucking book. Like I remember I was sitting there and she's just like, oh, this. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? I'm like, I haven't thought of that. Why would I do that? I don't want to do that. And then lo and behold, the moment the relationship ends, and look what I'm doing.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Man, I mean, I have nothing else to say to that one, but
Yeah, right.
like, I'm just kind of like, I guess, like, yeah, you're right. Like, maybe from that encounter, you realize that
I realized
maybe
what I should
what
be
you
doing,
should be doing,
what makes
what
me
you're good
happy.
at.
Yeah.
Yes.
What I found out what I was good at. And
Yeah.
It really like was an internal, finding
Mhm.
myself,
Yeah.
and I did, and that's how acting is for me, man. Like,
Yeah.
I remember one day I by whim did this play, A Midsummer Night's Dream. Great play. Super funny. All my friends, like, I'm telling you, like, I have like variety of friends. I have some like super goonish type surfer dude
Me too, man.
friends.
Yeah, like,
and then
and we're talking about surfing because I went just this weekend, and so like,
dude,
whenever I was
I
like,
haven't had
"Oh,
the
shit,"
chance.
like,
Last time I surfed was with my buddy up here. And it was
Yeah.
back in March, and I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm coming out." I was like, "Do I need to wear? Is my topper cool, or do I still need a wetsuit?" And he's like, "Nah, man, topper's cool."
just top was cool.
And I was like, "All right, I'm bringing my topper." Got in the water. I was like, "I need a wetsuit, bro. This is cold." I was like, "This is a whole new ball game." And
See, I'm not that in depth in there. I just went, I got it from Ron John.
Yeah.
I rented it out. I was just like,
Oh,
dude, me and my like best friend were
I
just
got
like,
like
yeah,
a whole
fuck it.
quiver of boards and stuff. So
Oh, do you really?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
shit.
my future goal is I want to be the best surfer out of the whole actors, out of all the actors, you know.
Yeah, let's just single you out. And
Hey,
just say,
I gotta have my own little
little,
niche,
little
you know?
niche. Yeah, I get you, man. I get you.
Yeah, it's
And,
yeah, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, man. Respect for that too, because surfing is hard. Like,
Surfing is hard.
It's a hard thing to get into, but once you kind of get the groove and you actually know, so like the balancing, dude, it was so much fun.
It
like,
teaches you a lot of willpower too,
Yes.
because like back where I'm from, the way that it's set up is it goes channel, super shallow sandbar, and then this break, like you're not getting out. There are times if it's low tide and you're going out on like a 7-8 foot day, you're not making it out. Only a select few that have surfed it, you know, like that know. Or you have to have the willpower to just push yourself through.
dude, 4 hours, man. I was out there and I was like, almost 5 hours, and it was just kind of like flying by. But
yeah, it's fun. It keeps me grounded, you know.
Yeah.
And you just sit there and you're like, all right, gotta go. This is gonna hurt, but this is gonna be fun. And so,
yeah. So I mean, just like that, and dedication with stuff like that, it's just kind of like it says a lot about you, especially when it comes to the realm of acting.
yeah,
And it kind of like what what you're gonna actually go through. And I mean,
you're gonna hit a wall,
Yes.
and then you're gonna hit another wall, and then guess what? Here comes a full set. Those are all 13-foot waves. Good luck, my friend.
Yes. So it's like, oh my gosh, like comparatively, you can kind of think of every wave as being like, oh, that's your downfall. That's
Yeah,
it. That's going to
here
be
comes
like a
another one.
plateau. There comes another one.
And then
What are
you
you gonna
paddle
do?
all the way out, and you're like, that was great.
Great.
Now it's time to ride all the way in, and then here we go again. You
Go
know,
back
and
another
I did all the
dance.
filming.
Yep.
My whole ride was that film, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh man, it's over. I gotta
Gotta do
again.
it again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
I'm pretty sure it gets addicting, man.
You know,
Like, that's
yeah,
something right there.
I'm addicted to it, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but like, I love my schedule being as full as it is.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Most people don't, and I'm like, I love it, man. Give me, I'm working, 16 hours a day, but whatever, man.
Dude, and that's the thing. Like, I think now more than ever, I think with the idea, and we were talking about this even before too, but I have no idea what that just happened. But we were talking about this idea of like technology and the amount of information that we're allowed to know, to the point where like you have a lot of options is what I'm trying to say, and if you don't know how to really time manage any of those options, then you're going to be stuck doing nothing, and then they get into a sense of depression. Like you're right,
Exactly.
and
too much free time, it bugs me,
Yes.
Like I like being able to go to sleep, and then all of a sudden I wake up, I'm like, oh, I have a lot of things to do today, and you're like, all right, well, I got to do this, got to do this, got to do this, and as long as you have, I definitely recommend routines to anybody. Like my morning routine, dude. If that was gone, I would start getting a little whack.
Right.
I mean, obviously I find time for the gym and stuff, like 4 days a week.
Right.
But you gotta have something that's constant in your day. It's the same thing every day, while everything else is constantly changing, and then you're solid, man.
Yeah, I totally understand and agree.
Yeah.
To really like almost everything, to the point of what you just said. And yeah, you're right, like just kind of like getting the idea of like doing nothing all day, and then you just realize that
you're like, I'm wasting my life. Yeah,
and then you that could be like another scary thing, like how we were talking about scary movies.
Exactly.
Like
it ponders in your mind, like, I'm wasting my life. Like,
Yeah.
look, man, I'm 22, and look what other people are doing at 22.
Exactly.
I'm not doing much. Like, it might not seem too much to people, but to me, it's overloading.
Exactly.
It's a lot to do, and yeah, it's stressful, man.
Right.
But that's why, like, if you can be alone and you can handle being alone, I think you can accomplish it.
Accomplish a lot.
Because like you sit there and something in your mind just starts clicking. Like,
yeah.
I was born alone. I'm gonna die alone.
See, I think that's what people are. The scarcity mindset. That's a big scarcity mindset, is to know that you are alone or you're going to die alone.
Yeah.
And what they do is they put themselves in these situations where, the relationship is not going to work out as well. They put themselves in these shitty, like, that maybe they're just going to have to, like, go and deal with their shit, and you don't even have your shit taken care of, just because now you're just in a place where you are no longer growing, and you're not even self-realizing all this stuff that is bad for you, but you're just gonna handle it because you're alone. It's like, what are you doing? Like, like that's time that you could self-reflect, even if it's gonna hurt, and it's gonna hurt to get yourself
It's gonna
out.
hurt a lot.
A
Yeah.
lot. It's to get yourself in that situation and get out of it, and then just know, like, okay, I deserve better. Is how you kind of like look at it, because there's one thing. If there's one thing that you're never gonna get back, it's time.
And that's why, like, there are times like today where like, no, this is gonna let me go through this, and then like, you got time now. I was like, let's do it now. Hey, like I said, I appreciate every opportunity that comes my way. So anything I can do, I'll keep on going.
Yes, and Disney sure does appreciate you
Yeah.
working for it.
Hey, work. I love working.
Just like that. But ladies and gentlemen, we are gonna end it here, guys. Thank you, Collin, for coming on, guys. He threw out his Instagram, you guys, that we talked about a lot on this episode. And just to let you guys know, this is the new setting. Everything that is here is just gonna evolve from a later on, just kind of adding on things here in general. But this is how the setting of this new podcast is going to be. Thank you for joining us today, guys. This is Johnny Reviews. Collin, just going to wave on the camera, just so we're going to say bye to everybody.
Have a good one, guys.
See you next time, guys. Subscribe, hit that like, anything you have to do to support this channel. We'll see you next time. Bye.